Who are you to be ranking big Genshin content creators? Well, I don't develop game. I judge the shit out of games. I don't make movie. I judge the shit out of movies. And I'm not a big content creator, but I judge... It's also an excuse for us to look at some of my favorite content creators in Genshin Impact Circle and looking more into one of my favorite characters that's coming up, that's Skirk.
Hello and welcome to my channel.
That is... I went to look.
So, hey guys, early access Skirk.
How many of them are playing at the same time? Gacha Gamer, Jamie, Volia, Jello Impact, Jadili, Cat with Blue Hat, Moga, and Bran. These are the content creators we'll be judging today. Are there Skirk Early Access videos hyping us up? Are there Skirk Early Access videos helpful for us to make our decision regarding polling or not? We shall see. I'm going to lose the best. Okay. People in chat is already divided into camp. Granted, this is not a reflection on any Genshin content creator entire channel. This is just a single video. This is Gacha Gamer.
So, I got early access to Skirk, and I'll be honest, we are looking at probably the most broken DPS since Movwika entered the chat. But I'm sure most of you know by now, there's always a catch. And this time around...
There's a catch! Oh, that's a cool one.
But I'm sure most of you know by now, there's always a catch. And this time around, it's a big one, let me tell you. Which is why I am going to do a massive showcase here of more than 12 teams plus 3 different playstyles.
On-field normals, quick swap burst, and then hybrid.
Different playstyles,
very cool.
And provide you with an honest breakdown of each teammate and how much damage can Skirk actually deal when she's in free-to-play versus premium.
The video
team.
has a good intro that introduces us exactly to the content of the video.
Quick disclaimer, I made this video with the creator experience server, so footage shown here is subject to change. In fact, we're in a bit of a peculiar situation. Some of the best free-to-play swords, Finale of the Deep and Calamity of Eshu, are not available on this server, and instead, I'll be using Absolution, which actually is like few percent better than Finale and even weaker than Eshu in certain teams. So,
interesting. I have not looked into Absolution yet. Probably because this thing does not give a passive to Skirk.
Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Plus, I think it looks pretty on her. Now, as for artifacts, I'll be using Finale of the Deep Gallery set, but I'll also talk about Hunter, which is about as good or even better sometimes to use than Finale. Finally, normal attack and burst talents are at level 9, while the skill is at level 10, which I'll explain why it's like that later on, and then of course, use Constellation 0. Okay, so what is up with this Slayer? She also heavily relies on the team comp made up of only Cryo and Hydro teammates. In fact, here's a quick example. Barbara, who does nothing in
Wait, what was that? What was that?
Cryo and Hydro teammates. In fact,
what was that? Genshin creator server. What is this? Law leak?
Here's a quick example. Barbara, who does nothing in this team, is actually a better option for Skirk than C0 Shilonen with Cinder City and
Barbara knows something, Chad. She holds Throne Tales of Dragon Slayer.
Shilonen, who provides tons of support and buffing, still ends up about 7% weaker than good old Barbara, who just stands there menacingly. Anyway, so looking at Skirk's normal
attacks, inside the volcano, is it?
Damage, look cool, but other than that, you will never want
it?
But yeah, in this mode, she actually gains Cryo Infusion. You'll also notice this bar, similar to Night Soul, that
she has Night Soul, yeah.
And while it lasts,
that is a nice indicator of how many,
combo, which I'll just call N5.
How many stacks she has.
Her charge attack, but aside from a niche function, it's quite terrible in terms of damage.
Her design
like a child
of the stamina bar is just so Night Soul coded.
Form plunge in her skill mode, but should you use it seriously in combat? Nah.
She wants to be a natlan character so bad.
Now, the skill can also be held down, which boosts her movement speed. When in her skill mode, Skirk essentially has near infinite resistance to interruptions, so there's a bigger chance you'll just die with her from all the damage rather than get interrupted. Finally, Skirk's burst is quite simple. You tap the button and it will deliver a massive payload of damage. Oh, and fun fact, while Skirk needs no regular energy, she still generates 4 cryo particles. But interestingly enough, the particles are generated the moment she deals any source of cryo damage, which includes using her burst. And
this is actually useful information.
But, well, except for
that is holy crap, what is this? This is actually very in-depth information that not anyone would notice.
The moment she
generates particle from any instance of cryo damage.
Any source of cryo damage.
I would add to this, I read somewhere that Skirk would also generate particles from any instance of cryo at all. So if you use Chongyun in the team and have Skirk does just a regular normal attack and not in her special skill normal attack, she would still generate the particles, which is something niche, but maybe useful to know. You would? What would you do, Kitana?
In a nutshell, yeah. Well, except for this little small detail glossed over. Serpent Subtle, the unique energy system that Skirk relies on. Basically, you can gain 45 points of Serpent Subtlety when she uses a skill, and then the only other way to gain more of it has to do with her first passive. When anyone in the team causes Frozen, Superconduct, Cryo Swirl, and Cryo Crystal,
there are these rifts on the ground
will appear. 3 at most can exist, and by themselves, they do absolutely nothing, and it's up to Skirk to consume them. If she's in her tapped skill mode, then by using Charge Attack or the Burst button, she will absorb all Void Rifts on the field.
Oh, wait.
Then by using
Oh, this is a cool
charge
indicator.
attack or the burst button,
This is just basically indicating how many of the rifts we currently have on the field that's not absorbed yet, which is a little bit weird, but okay.
she will absorb all void
It's
rifts
still a
on the
cool
field.
indicator.
Otherwise, she can also absorb them when holding down the skill. And each void rift gives 8 serpent subtlety or 24 at most. Now, this is where we have to talk about all her
Immediately,
play
this
style,
video is
because
already
the way
quite
she
helpful.
consumes void rifts and utilizes serpent subtlety dictates her playstyle. Okay, so starting off with normal attack spamming. By tapping, she gains 45 points, and then usually there will be 3 rifts on the field when setting up the rotation. So the best way to absorb them is by actually tapping the burst button. This is a special burst. It will not deal any damage, and instead, all rifts will be absorbed, and then her next 10 normal attacks will deal increased damage. Plus, for every void rift, it will be increased further. Now, normally, by doing this quick combo of EQ and spamming N5, she will end up with 69 points, and every 1 second consumes 7 serpent subtlety, so this allows her to dish out around 3 5-hit combos, or N5. However, it's possible more rift will be created while she's in this mode, so usually
she can
charge
absorb
attacks
more.
absorb the rift somewhere in this combo can result in longer duration, and for my own testing, I can achieve roughly 4 N5s plus N3, but the mode immediately ends after
4 and
12.5
5. Wait a
seconds, no
minute,
matter how
that's
much
a
serpent
lot.
subtlety- I know.
Probably I'm still gonna need to wait to have Skirk and test some optimal rotation combos. Right now, for my calculation of Skirk, I think I have 3 and 5 and then do a charge attack and then 1 more and 5. We will see whether Skirk, when she's released, how many of these attacks can she do, and if she can do more attacks, more combos, obviously that's gonna translate into more damage overall.
Let's stack a bunch of attack speed on her and see what happens then. Okay, so with 8% attack speed from Big Chungus,
This is what's in your kitchen!
2 extra normal. Then with 20% attack speed from Dahlia, this resulted in an entire extra N5
Dad,
combo.
go save
Then
Ari!
with 25%
I'll sit here and
attack
watch.
speed from Mika, it was also extra N5 combo, but easier to achieve. The artifact
Ultimate
set had
Asian
both Dahlia
slipper.
and Mika. I was zooming around so much, I could almost achieve 5 N5. I do believe Dahlia or Mika providing that attack speed boost ends up as a decent teammate option for her, because that extra N5 is actually quite powerful. But yeah, long story short, this is the standard combo string
Mika
I've been
usable?
showing, which can then be extended
Outside
even
of feasible,
further with
team?
extra charge attacks if more void rifts
I'm
appear on
actually
the
building
field.
Mika
Now,
for
one more
Skirk. One
hint,
thing that
the
I
burst
am
is
having a
different,
gripe with
so
this
you cannot
is
use
that
burst
Gacha
playstyle
Gamer
and
is
tap
not
mode.
having
Instead,
a
you will want to hold down the skill, and then
chapter
Skirk will absorb
system
nearby
or
void rifts,
timestamp
which
thing
means 45
over here.
points gained
So
initially.
I have
Even
no
one rift is enough
idea
to trigger
what
the
is coming
burst.
up. What is this?
Up
Content
until
creator
62
basic?
points. And
Come
let
on,
me tell you,
come on,
the
Gacha
difference
Gamer.
in damage is as big as my depth from Gacha Gaming. Seriously, you want to make sure to absorb at minimum 2 void rifts before using the burst if you want to witness some spectacular damage fireworks.
I think
Although
he's
I will say
actually
that
doing
Shincho
some
isn't that amazing
calculation
for
in the
burst,
background
and also
rather than
you can
just looking at the numbers on the
further for
screen,
normal
which I
attacks
do
using
appreciate.
Dahlia.
Hold on, why does Skirk look so different when standing amongst the other characters? Am I the only one that sees this? Or maybe she's just a new and shiny character that we're not used to. But on the same screen, there's also Dahlia, which is new and shiny, I suppose. She looks like she doesn't belong. She looks like she's a copy-pasted Photoshop character in here for some reason.
Burst further for normal attacks if using Dahlia and Calamity of Ash Sword, but alas, I don't have the sword on this server. But what happens when we go into premium mode
Alright.
together with Gafier and Furina? It's
Call
a
back the
different
slippers,
world, let me
Chad.
tell you that. The burst ends up dealing about 1.4 million damage.
Jesus
so that's
Christ.
like 60% more than with free-to-play.
Hold on, is Mona actually gonna have an use? Hold on. You know what? Mona buff is so short and usually that is not useful at all. But maybe in a Skirk Nook burst playstyle, she could be a viable option. At least in the overall, because in the overall things can just die very fast. So what I see is that Skirk has a lot of quality of life when it comes to just exploring in the overall, because she can zoom around fast in her skill set, in special skill set. She can stack her energy quite fast in the overall, which is nothing to scoff at. It's quality of life.
Long story short, these two units absolutely elevate Skirk's performance.
Same situation.
Remember when I showed you that anecdotal example of Barbara being better than C0 Shilonen with Cinder City and Signature Weapon? So here's the final detail I've been withholding. The second passive called Return to Oblivion states that for every different Hydro and Cryo teammate who hits an enemy, Skirk...
What is the scaling, Chad? What is the scaling? Okay, we're gonna add one more Hydro Cryo character. So normally you would do 100% of your damage. Adding one teammate, you gain 10% damage. Adding one more Hydro and Cryo teammate, you gain 20% damage instead. So far so good. So what if you choose to add that last Hydro and Cryo teammate? 130? 170? This has the same energy as this, Chad. 5%, 10%, 15%, 55%! They're made for each other, literally.
passive increases everyone's skill level by 1 if everyone in the party is from Cryo and
That
Hydro,
too.
which for some might not matter, but heavy skill damage dealers like Escoffier and Farina of course will capitalize on this. Not to mention, Skirk's skill gives multipliers to those enhanced normal attacks, so yeah. And that's why all Barbara needs to do is hit the enemy once to let Skirk max out this pass, and then this Lady of Abyss will deal better damage than with C0 Shalona, who has Cinder City and Signature. Let it sink in. If we remove these two from the team and try to make a team comp of, let's say, Zarya, Mona with TTDS and Noblesse, and then Shallonen, but let's not forget that Shallonen's resistance shred and damage boost will be applied to other teammates. So if there's Rosaria or Sho or any other sub DPS, they could benefit from that and end up doing a bit better than free-to-play comp. And you could also swap out Shallonen with Kazuha, who will then provide grouping and similar buff. What about the other archetypes, like Melt? Well, Skirk's cryo application is actually pretty mid, and while she can melt some of her hits or even the burst, it's just not as good as a full Hydro and Cryo team. Same goes for something like Hyperbloom. I mean, yeah, you can play it in a team like this,
Skirk Hyperbloom, let's go.
But Skirk will be essentially
Ryegrass?
I mean,
let's
hey,
go.
It's a free world. Do what makes you happy.
Yeah, basically this is talking about the last slot. Let's skip to the conclusion here.
The premium team and hybrid playstyle, I'd say she's definitely up there with the most powerful
6.0 new reaction meta just.
She is the most powerful
I can't
DPS
wait.
in the game, but again, only if we assume Escoffier and Farina are in the team. So
reaction stuff has been sitting in the background for a bit, so transformation reaction.
Anyway, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed the video. As always, I'd appreciate if you could press the like button and subscribe to my channel.
Alright, that's the video, Jed. That's from Gacha Gamer Early Access video. Let's do the tier listing. What will be the tier name for these? I want to make 2 tier lists, one for useful information and one for hyping up. I think this one is falling more on the useful side rather than the hyping. Holy shit, I'm pulling. Holy shit, I'm getting in that. Maybe. Skip. The useful. Big brain. Kinda helpful. I understand nothing. This video, I think, is big brain. It has very useful information from Gacha Gamer regarding the particles, regarding the teams. In terms of hyping, I'm gonna say it's in the maybe territory. It's more of a helpful video. You're gonna see this coming quite hand in hand because the more information we give on Skirk, it's gonna be slightly less hype because people gonna realize that she is quite dependent on certain characters to do good numbers. Let's see if there's any content creator that can achieve both of this, still giving big brain information and keeping the hype. We're gonna see. We're gonna watch one more Skirk video. Let's Bran is here. Let's watch it before we look at the Skirk trailer.
Bro, after watching the 5.7 livestream and seeing Skirk in action, I've been so excited. Today I've got the opportunity to be able to show you guys.
This seems to be a slightly different style of Bran video than usual. I think normally he has a small camera of his because he's also streaming. I think this one is specifically made with a green screen for the video.
From
for
0
this.
all the way up to 6. But first, let's start off with some cool little detail. Leaving this track in space and time looks absolutely sick. Now, if you see here, a normal attack performs at a 5 consecutive strike. Bro, take a quick look and see what this looks like. Bro, I love how it transforms into a twin blade. For the charge attack, she just yoinked the twin blade right in front of her, doing a little spin. And then we'll switch to Dahlia here to be able to show you lunge attack. Diving straight down with the twin blade. Animations are really good. Now, since Skirk doesn't really use the typical energy...
Not gonna lie, why? For some reason, this man's video is giving me some vibe of some random ad where there is some gameplay and there is someone on screen just sprouting commentaries about that gameplay. Is he actually playing?
system. Let's take a look.
Bran was on vacation recently, so maybe that's why the style is different. Yeah, probably.
I said this before, but honestly, any character that gets like the Arlecchino signature movement where she like glides, absolutely amazing. Alright, the ultimate is a bit of a weird one here. So the skill itself does generate enough to be able to do the super cool looking ultimate. I'll explain that in a bit. But when you have at least 50 of the Serpent Soul, you get to
you're gonna explain some of the mechanic stuff as well.
In the 7-phase lash mode, the ult's replaced with a different version of it. This grants the all-shield wither effect, which lasts until the 7-phase slash ends. And when you get the pass talent, you can also absorb nearby void rift. Right, I leveled the talents to 777 to get a gist of can do. We'll put him up the 999 later. I am going to level up her weapon to 90 as well.
777 is a weird thing.
This should work. Escoffier, Dahlia, Yelan. Let's go to the G Blue Heroine.
Escoffier, Dahlia, Yelan. His head is covering a little bit of the team section here.
Get the Escoffier go. Damn. Wow. Wait, this is
777 talent, by the way.
Okay, that was kind of insane. How did Dahlia end up on 1 HP? Let's try the Raiden weekly boss.
She can switch appearance like Farina. When she's entering her skill stat, she switched to a dark clothing.
I am on pink, so if you
she cannot switch that and keep the dark clothing though, because the skill stat's gonna end.
This damage is still really good though for a C0, dude. Jeez. We're probably not gonna be able to one phase. No, there we go. Okay. Let's take a look though. Find the right clone. There it is. I want to see how quick we can take it down with constellations later, but honestly, for now, this is fine. Let's do a Scorpio ult, and then here we go. Here we go. Now, I'm purposefully not showing you all the ult yet, like the big ult, because honestly, I want to see how she plays with the lower energy.
I want to see something. The way he plays Skirk looks slightly weird.
Let's do a Scorpio ult, and then Here we go.
The problem I have with this is that his body is actually covering all of the skill and burst symbols. I cannot really see whether he's using skill or burst. Because this is such a new character, I cannot really tell whether which one he's using. I'm not familiar with the animation yet.
Here we go.
Okay, so that's the problem I have, right? There is a void rift over here that he's just not absorbing for Skirk, which does increase her field time and a little bit of damage, I think.
Now, I'm purposefully not showing you all the ult yet, like the big ult, because
I don't think he's even using the mini ult at all, mini burst at all, because using the mini burst would immediately absorb this thing. He just doesn't use it.
as you can see here, to get more energy, you have to absorb the void rifts in different ways. So let's go try this on Magu Kinky, actually, because Magu Kinky does get phase HP, so we can actually test it out on him for longer without him really doing anything. And it's easier to freeze him because the rain's still here. So let's take a look. Let's go. Get some void rifts going here.
He got the
We'll
rift.
test out the ult
Nice.
damage here in a second. I want to generate enough void rifts first. I'm telling you guys, sorry. The ping is real bad. It's got my... I promise you I can dodge. I promise you I can dodge. I haven't used Zhongli in years. God damn. Okay. Let's get back in there. Here we go. He dodged it.
What is that
Okay.
skip like?
Come on. Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second. We could do it again. I want to see how much damage it does at C0. Come on. Let me in.
Bears on the loose.
A Scorpio ult. There we go. Switch in time. Ooh,
Okay, sure.
Okay, not bad. Looks insane, by the way. The ult animation is one of the cleanest ult animations in the game. Let's head to Spiral.
Okay, maybe he's on vacation, so he has extremely limited time. This just says to me like he has maybe 30 minutes to sit down and make this video, because he definitely could have recorded the fight with the Magu Kenki again and put the better footage in there.
I want to test this on Lord 12. I'll use my level 1 Dahlia, and I'll even use Sing Sho just to see how this holds up. And first team, we'll just do a typical Mawika team. Just see what we can do, especially with Perpetual Mechanical Array, actually. This guy does like to stall out time quite a bit. But let's just see. Let's just see. We're not taking it super seriously. Here to have fun, test out a new character. Let's go, man. Oh. Okay. Honestly, not bad damage there.
That doesn't look like a lot of damage.
Okay, well, Dahlia's
dead.
That's fine.
This is still pretty
Jello
fast
from this is
by
fine. The
just
worst
general
one,
abyss
this one,
standard.
the
This
third team
chamber
here, let's
starts
just, see what we can do,
at
especially
8:40, and this chamber ends
really
at...
good. 7 minute 20 left. Come on. Nice.
Okay. Okay. Generally, if you have two teams in a Spiral Abyss and you are playing both of them and you want to get the 3-star, you want each team to be able to pull their weight in 1 minute and 30 seconds, right? 8 minutes and 40 seconds means that the first team has been able to pull their weight in 1 minute and 20 seconds, and then Skirk teams over here is pulling her weight in 1 minute and another 20 seconds. So that is not to say that Skirk is weak or anything. And also, this is a team that is slightly scuffed, using both Dahlia and Xingqiu instead of better options. And also, Bran has a little bit of missed execution in here. Everything of that combined to make the timing looks a little bit weird there. But I am saying that Bran definitely could try to understand the characters a little bit better and execute a little bit better if he wants to make this to be some kind of showcase video for the people that does not have access to early access like he does. This seems like a little bit lack of effort to me.
Alright, now let's take a look at these constellations, shall we? 4 to 4. What does this? Let me try to explain this all in Razorland. It improves the talent where when you absorb Void Rift, you now summon a Crystal Blade attack any by opponent. 500% hack cryo to charge hack, so that's then into the abyss. So when you use the skill, you get 10 extra Serpent Subtlety, and when you use the ult, you actually get more damage from it anyway. Additionally, within 12.5 seconds after you unleash the Elemental Bird, the Extinction version while in the 7-phase flash, attack is increased by 70%. Oh, I'm gonna prefer that. I'm gonna prefer that even more, I'm telling you. Third con is in the talent level. Fourth con enhances the passive talent.
He's not gonna even test each constellation. He's just immediately going all the way to C6.
And then C6, whole live. Wow. So now Void Rifts that you absorb passive talent grant 1 Havoc Ever stack. When you consume them, you do coordinated attacks and decrease damage you take while in the 7-phase flash mode, which is the skill, and it lasts for 15 seconds. 3 stacks max. Okay, brilliant. So when you use the Elemental Burst, the big one, you consume the stacks to initiate coordinated attacks. With each Sever stack, you deal 750% of Skirk's attack as cryo damage. 3 coordinated attacks. Bro, I think I prefer the place. Big ultimate time. Oh,
that's a lot better.
Damn, dude. That's so much burst damage. That is so much burst damage. That is insane. All right, one more test. We are going to level up the talents to 999 here. I have...
Wait, what? Wait, what?
All right, one more test. We are going to level up the talents to 999 here.
He activated C6 before he levels up the talent to 999. It was still 777 this whole time. I'm sorry? Wait, what the... So the C0 testing was not informative at all because the talent was not 999. That this is me. Who? Sir?
I have to see how this bullet talent. Hold on, D. We're gonna base this just off the big. Oh, let me get set up properly here, brother. This character is absolutely insane. I will be pulling only for C0 though. I am free to play in Genshin now, so I'm definitely gonna pull for C0. Might pull.
Okay. I don't know, man. Rechat real quick. Should I apply for beta? I mean, I don't think this is not beta. This is not beta. This is content creator early access. Beta is entirely different thing. And I don't even know. I think I need to have a bigger audience first before they even consider me. I don't know if this is an application thing or they just reaching out to the people. Bran, I like your other content, but this one is not it. It comes off as something that is very careless. It's a very little attention to detail. He doesn't seem to really take the time to understand the character that much. He doesn't seem to even take the time to record some of the better footage in terms of gameplay. This screams like 30 minutes before my flight kind of video. I understand that he is a streamer that's focused more on the art conquest, the story side, and the experience of Genshin as a whole. But if you are gonna make a video about a character, test and showcase, give a little bit more effort than this. I would say in terms of getting hype, I don't know, it's a skip or very low on the maybe. He is showing a lot of the pretty Skirk animation stuff, but the way that he is playing Skirk and making us see her damage not being extremely high is a little bit off-putting. From this video, if this is the only video I've seen about Skirk, she seems mid as hell. I understand nothing in the voice. Sure. Once again, I should say this. This is not a shade throw onto Bran as a content creator as a whole, but this is definitely a shade throwing at this particular video that Bran makes. The amount of effort or lack thereof is quite showing here. One more thing I would repeat again, that his camera being here, blocking entirely UI icons of Skirk's skill and burst is, what's the word for it? It's triggering me. Okay, let's refresh our mind a little bit. I think someone says that Skirk trailer is out, so we're gonna watch Skirk trailer and then we're gonna watch a few more of these videos from content creators regarding Skirk stuff. This is collected miscellany. This is not trailer. No, this is a collected miscellany. Okay, you know what? Chat, hold on. This is actually good. Collected miscellany is a video talking about the mechanics of the new character. We're gonna see how Hoyoverse is presenting the new characters and explaining about them. Okay, this is gonna be our baseline. Okay, this is gonna be our baseline to judge all the other content creators' video on Skirk Early Access. This is actually amazing for our purpose right now.
これまでの旅でお前は己の力を示し、強者であることを証明し、
You've proven to strength me along the
私と対等
journey.
に言葉を交わす資格
The
が
right to speak me as an
教えるの
equal.
は一度だけだ。
I will demonstrate this one.
特殊なエネルギー、ジャのコーチを使用する氷アタッカーだ。
Thank you, Japanese Days
通常攻撃
Leaf.
や元素爆発で戦闘を行うが、この元素爆発は元素エネルギーではなく、ジャのコーチを
Elemental
使
burst
って発動する。
does not rely on elemental
元素スキ
energy,
ル一体を
relies
し
on
て
the
は
special
ジャ
kind
の
of
コーチ
energy.
を一定量獲得して七相一戦状態に入る。
Yeah,
こ
very
の
cool.
時通常攻撃、銃撃、
Normal
落下
charge,
攻撃
bludgeoning
は
attack.
元素付与によって他の元素に変
Elemental
化しない
infusion.
氷ダメージとなる。中断耐性が上がり、通常攻撃と銃撃の範囲が広くなる。長押しではジャのコーチを獲
Holding
得
a
し
skill,
中断耐性
shield
が
gains
アップした
substance
状態で高速移動を
increase
し続け
interruption
る。
to resistance, can move on
チー
water.
ムの仲間が氷関連反応を起こすと
That's a dual blade for Rina, by the way.
虚構の裂け目が生成される。七相一戦状態のスカークが銃撃または元素スキルの長押しで高速移動すると虚境の裂け目を
Absorbs the
吸
rift.
収し
Very
ジャの
cool.
コー
That's
チを
physical
獲得
attack.
星々よ、静かに眠れ。
Elemental burst can be increased in
元素爆
damage
発のダメージがアップする。
when she has special
ス
energy.
カーク
Got
は
it.
戦闘に際して受け身ではなく積極的に戦い方を変えることで相手の不意をつく。七相一戦状態の時彼女はジャのコーチを消費せずに元素爆発を発動する。
That's so similar to.
彼女はジャ
It reminds me of Kokomi's burst.
のコーチを消費せず
That one.
七相一戦状態の時彼女はジャのコーチを消費せずに元素爆発を発動する。この場合周囲の一定範囲内にある
She fighting! The treasure hunter is still
スカ
standing!
ークの通常攻撃のダメージが上が
Have
る。
a little taste!
水または氷キャラの仲間と協力して戦うとスカークの元素爆発および七相一戦モードでの通常攻撃のダメージが上がる。
I adore
武芸の習得に
the
は
fact that you're
多様な
committing to
術
the
の
bit.
得が
Also welcome into the stream.
弟子から師とな
Hope you have a
っ
good
た彼
time.
女ならよく知っているはずだ。
You're gonna see Volia. I will see. I mean, we're gonna go through all the content creator early access video.
それぞれの元素スキルレベルが1上がる。
Yep, very cool.
スカークは戦闘に長けており、
Talking about the passive, increasing skill, talent level.
仲間の協力のもと、元素スキルの1回落ちで敵に攻撃を仕掛け続け、銃撃と元素爆発をタイミングよく発動することで巨強の裂け目を吸収し、凄まじい構成で敵を一掃する。また元素スキルの長押しでフィールド上にある巨強の裂け目を吸収し、余ったジャのコーチで元素爆発を発動して目の前の敵を粉砕する。俺から見たスルトロッチは決して死にはなれそうにない人物だから今まで通り。
Wait, what are these cameos?
兄の予言が実証されると俺の運命に対する不満はさらに深まる。幸い今のところスカークは極悪期の悪い部分を受け継いでいないようでほっとした。しかし幸いと言えるのはそこだけだ。多くが運命から逃れようとする一方で生き残るためその束縛に自ら足を踏み入れる者もいる。これは不可抗力なの。この先もこうした馬鹿げたことは起こり続ける。俺はまだいろんな問いの答えを探している。貴様もそのはずだ。今回はここまでにしておこう。あとのことはまた会う時に。
The next time we meet, we have more to discuss. This is Densleif talking about Skirk, and we've seen that Skirk and Densleif has met from the previous video we've seen. For the Lord of the Night! Chat is just quoting characters quote at this point in chat. Throwing abilities! Wretched vermin! Cry louder! Genshin video on Skirk, quote unquote, early access. In terms of helpfulness, it is actually big brain. They are explaining everything. With 4 minutes, they managed to explain a lot more than potentially some 10 minutes video. Granted, these are the people that makes the game and understand these characters, so they know what to write in the script. In terms of, you know what, I'm gonna change this. This should not be maybe. This is a pretty drastic difference from the name of this tier to this tier. Yeah, trying a 50-50. That seems reasonable, right? Seems reasonable. I'm gonna say it's in here. I'm sorry, Bran. I'm sorry, Bran. Where's I win to lose? Hold on. This is Gacha Gamer. This is I win to lose. This is Jamie. This is, what's the name again? Volia. This is Jello Impact. This is Jade. This is Cat with Blue Hat. We're gonna get through them. This is Moga. This is Bran. Okay? Chat, I have all of them up. We're just gonna have to go through them one by one. And this is Genshin Impact. Volia, sure.
So I was able to try out Skirk early, and playing her was hands down one of the most fun I've had with Genshin so far. Besides being able to slash down enemies with her flashy attacks, Skirk also has 2 different playstyles, with the first being normal attacks and
Pyroclastic charge!
Enemies in quick succession.
Eternal!
To fight the more challenging opponents with a big damage elemental burst. As you may know, Skirk works the best in defense, so a team that consists of only cryo.
Alright, hold on. Let's listen to this. This is guy talking.
Even though her team might be a bit restrictive at first glance, trust me.
At first glance,
Skirk with were eye-opening, and characters that I initially didn't think would work well with her actually felt great. In this video, I took Skirk and tested her out against a variety.
Oh, this is Skirk, Xingqiu, Dahlia, and Mega. All 4 star. Okay.
Of opponents with various teams that will help you get an idea of Skirk's performance. Just a disclaimer though, that all the testing were done in a 5.7 creator experience server, so things are still subjected to change. Without further ado, enjoy the video. Alright, let's take a look at Skirk's animation. Let's just make her kind of stand up, and yeah, her normal attack animations are definitely very elegant, and she also has 2 different modes. So this is her first normal attack.
Yeah, this is a similar opening to Bran's video.
You'll be able to like actually dual wield and
text on
infuse
screen.
Her normal attacks with cryo. And what makes Skirk unique is that she also has 2 bursts. So this is basically one of her special bursts that doesn't really do damage, but it buffs her normal attack. And when you hold her skill,
pick the wrong test subject. The trouble holder is down, guys.
So yeah, you'll be able to get her normal burst, and this is the one that does damage, which has a very pretty animation. So yeah, can't wait to try her out against a few bosses and just see how much damage she does. So my current Skirk build is pretty simple. I'm using her signature weapon, and I'm at a pretty decent crit ratio. Artifacts, I'm sticking with the Finality of the Deep set.
Oh God, I thought that was the ratio for matches.
A pretty free-to-play team comp with 4 stars only against
4 stars only.
Skirk is able to do. Mika, I believe, also increases attack speed as well.
Did he show the talent level at all?
Artifacts, I'm sticking with
no. Straight gloves converge.
So this will make
that's
pretty
Xiang Yun, right?
And damage-wise, it looks like I'm doing around 20k. I saw it 35k, even at 59k as well. Wow.
Daniel, that's a little bit lit. I had to hit 3x already.
Even without 5 stars in her team. Alright, let's swap into a different team. The team I
It's
actually
appreciated
play
nonetheless.
is
Not having to teleport to a statue of 7.
Don't know Farina though, because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering how she is without Farina. So, but this is basically a Escafia and Skirk combo. Hopefully, Escafia can make Skirk cook.
Yeah? Is she cooking?
Alright, let's see my damage. So,
Yeah.
damage is pretty good.
It's
Definitely a little bit more than my 4-star only lineup. I also
Yeah.
have Jill, so yeah. 95k. Alright, next we have Farina. So this team is without Escafia. Only a Farina. But yeah, let's see how much damage we'll be able to do this
Hold
time.
on, I need to check something. Is this the same boss that we have fought before, or is this a event-specific boss? I am looking at the boss level. If this is the same boss, this boss is level what? Yeah, this is the same world boss. Okay, how long was that, chat? How long was that? That was Kaya DPS, by the way. Alright, we're gonna have a scientific comparison, okay, chat? Convert. Stopwatch timer. We'll see how long Kaya DPS is able to beat this boss, just so that we have a benchmark for this. 27 seconds. 27 seconds, okay? Let's take a look at these.
So damage is pretty good. Definitely low.
It cuts abruptly before it finished the boss.
4-star only lineup. Also, I can break the shield. So yeah. Alright, let's see my
Bro, stop cutting between them. That's 20 seconds. That's better than Kaya. Kaya was able to do that in 27 seconds. Skirk, Xingqiu, Escofia, and
damage is pretty
Layla was able to do it in 20 seconds.
Good.
Okay, that's a big improvement there. 20
Definitely
to
a little
22
bit
seconds.
more.
In no
But yeah, let's see how
world
much
that I
damage
am
we'll do this
imagining that Kaya is gonna be faster, but just to put things into perspective, how much faster she is.
And I guess now when you put everyone together, this is gonna be basically
The premium
no
team.
competition. This boss is probably gonna die in one rotation.
Yeah.
But, you definitely see the damage increase based on the teammates I have. Alright, so the other thing that makes Skirk unique is that she has a burst as well that you can basically use. So I'm curious to see how much damage this would do.
Go on.
Do normal rotations and then
Thank you, Kitana.
burst.
That was pretty fast. Yes,
Yeah,
13
you know,
seconds.
60K
That's a premium
to
team.
79k, wow. Now you can basically just finish the boss off with normal attack combo.
Now, let me see what he does.
Yeah, I'm seeing around 6.
So he
and
used the
then
burst without the skill first,
Yeah,
maybe
so around
because he
60.
already has full energy from the beginning.
And then
Yes, he does.
burst.
Then he finishes
Yeah, I'm
off
seeing around
with the skill.
60k to 79k, wow.
Also,
Now you can
not
basically just
absorbing the
finish
skill,
boss off
the
with
void
50K
grip on the
to
ground.
79K.
Not absorbing the void grip on the ground.
Okay, wow.
It's
Now you
okay.
can basically just finish the boss off with normal attack combo, hopefully. Yeah. One rotation and the boss basically died. Okay, so you see this thing on the ground. This thing is basically called Void Rifts. And when you pick it up with your elemental skill...
He is aware.
code,
So
which
just a
counts
little bit of
energy
hiccup in execution
Okay,
in the
let's
past.
finish.
We'll skip around a little bit.
Team.
These are
Let's see what
some
bonus first,
showcase
how much
of different playstyle, which does,
I'm also kinda
which is
curious to
definitely
see how
informative.
much damage
Immediately, we have
does
already
Mona
seen quite a bit of
actually
effort
make
in
us
testing
do.
many different
I'm gonna
teams
do it
with many
first.
different bosses here.
And without Mona's buffs, I'm doing
Which I
around
do
30 to
appreciate.
40K, which is not bad. Alright, now I'm gonna try the same boss again. But this time with Mona's burst. So let's just get started. I'm pretty sure you already know who I'm fighting. I'm gonna fight Child. I'm basically soloing him.
This is
my
peak
disciple.
content, chat. This is peak content.
One rotation. So yeah, normal attack.
Physical
does it.
skirt.
So let's see. Yeah.
Ooh.
Wait, oh, I didn't
Okay,
crit.
okay. I see you. I see you.
It was very strong. I didn't even take any damage.
Footage not spit.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of attacks, and it's actually pretty fun. You get through one rotation really quick as well. So yeah.
Wow,
because
that's a
it's
lot more
full
bosses
four-star
that he's
team.
testing again. You know what? I
If you're
respect
ready
this
in
amount of
her
dedication.
show
I
form-
respect it. Alright,
okay.
let's see some Spiral Abyss stuff.
I'm gonna be only doing
That's
the first chamber
around
of floor
10
12,
minutes
and
of
this is
just
with a
fighting bosses?
completely
Holy
attainable
crap.
team with Mona at C0 and Xingqiu and Mikami. So we'll see how this will do. I want to be able to burst the boss. And as you can see, when you start Abyss, you pretty much have full Serpent and Celdody stacks. So I'm able to just use my burst. So damage was okay, not bad. My normal attack is looking like 50k each.
This is a free-to-play team,
with
yeah.
some 70k at the end of my combo.
With now
which is
Escofia.
Alright, boss is just kind of stalling right now, shooting me.
Let's see. The chamber starts at what? The chamber 9:11. And the chamber ends at what? 7:39.
Alright, burst.
So that means we have spent how much? 2 minutes? 1.5 minutes? 1.5 minutes. Yeah, 1.5 minutes in here. 1:32 seconds.
This
Can
boss might be a
you
bit
do
scary,
some
though,
Spiral Abyss
so
with
we'll see
Escofia,
how this
please?
goes.
Just for comparison purpose.
I know this boss has like a shield, so hopefully I can freeze it. Damage-wise, I'm doing 50k to it.
Wait, this
100K
boss
as
is
well.
freezable. I never knew
This is
that.
usually a boss I struggle with a lot, but seeing Skirk able to just kind of slice the HP through half already is pretty impressive, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run away.
the problem with this
Skirk also
boss
does
is
have a
mostly
very
because
nice
it
movement
does
option
so
as
much
well.
damage to
Alright,
us.
stop the boss in its
Cryo
tracks.
certainly helps.
Let's try the burst combo. So damage, I'm doing wow.
Nice.
Basically, just finish off the boss.
All right, these are some very cool
Maybe a bit
showcase.
restrictive
For the
with the-
purpose of the judgment of these videos, we're gonna skip through. I've already noted down the diligence of this guy.
These only, but you can also use your creativity to assemble a pretty nice team. With my favorite being the Skirk Zoom team. I don't know, something about her being able to move twice as fast compared to her opponents just felt satisfying to me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to watch this video that the YouTube algorithm recommends you, and I'll see you there.
the hell is this?
And if you did-
Desperate for Skirk, I found Primo Gem is free to play for 30 days straight on a new Genshin account. How are you judging this video, chat? Volia, I hope I'm saying his name right. Volia. Yeah, okay, good enough. Tier list. Oh no, get over here. Boom, boom. Volia video is very helpful. I think this is the most helpful video so far with how much information he's giving. This is the most helpful so far. In terms of polling, I think it is pretty comfortably in the lead for the video so far. There is none of the videos that is really getting me so hyped for this character. I don't know what it is that has to be in the video, but none of the videos is giving me that. Maybe I'm just a little bit too harsh on everyone. This was a good video, help you clear some doubts, especially fights without Escovia. Yeah, it was a good video. It's extremely big brain when it comes to, you know what, I am willing to just bring the official collected miscellany video down a little, because this video actually only show how Skirk's ability works, but not showing her numbers and not specifically showing her performance with and without Escovia. I'm gonna drop this down here. Speed attack buff for sword user, maybe no hit lag. Yeah, that is the problem with any characters that is melee. We're gonna test that too. Hopefully I will be able to get a copy of Dahlia so that I can test with both Mika and Dahlia and see the funny animation goes brrr. This is a video from Cat with Blue Hat. Let's change things up a little bit. I know Cat with Blue Hat is a content creator that does not talk. Let's see what the early access video is like. I got early access to play Skirk. Try to find a matching place for her, but her design is extremely unique and doesn't match any region. Jewel, you can go to Night Kingdom, I guess. Elena Santibat. There you go. Oh, and Kanomiya Fitter. Yeah, that's nice. Sitting there also levitating at the same time. Interesting angle. Animated outfit. Don't remember anyone in Genshin having animated outfit before. Escovia. Transparent fabric. I don't know. Can look away from her. Jesus. What is this video? Legs! Legs for days! Enough staring at her legs. Now we're gonna stare at her. Two big reasons to pull. Cute wing on her back. It's a fin. Leg enjoy. Oh, that's a wing actually. You know what? This video has been informative. This video has been informative. Two light blue antenna in her hair. Wait, that's true. Kind of like Novelette. You know what? I don't care. This video has been informative. None of the early access content creators have been pointing this out. Transparent hair for her eyes. That's the standard for anime. I never noticed that before though. I know that is a standard for a lot of anime stuff. Over 10 content. It looks different when used by others compared to Skirk. How? I don't see it. Didn't notice this before, but Skirk seems to have a new height model. Is it? Oh! She's taller than Shadow. Yeah, she's quite a bit taller. Bit shorter than tall female. Okay, hold on. Hard to see. Okay. Interesting. So she's in the middle of the medium height and the tall female model. Again with the angle. Chai dual wheels, he learns it from his master. He did. You forgot what the video was about? This is exactly what the video is about, chat. Exactly. How many times can you spam this? Oh, okay, nice. That's a special one. I think its range is a little bit bigger. Sure, okay. Go over water, she cannot fly off. Okay, sure. I'm pressing long to figure out her burst. She glows in the dark. Oh yeah, her limbs kind of glows in the dark. It's a simple video. It's very cat with blue hat style video. But immediately, I think this is the video that got me the most hype for Pauline Skirk. It says pretty much nothing about her mechanics. It's just showing the pretty animation. Only thing missing is the Chai Skirk similarities. It's an atrocious skill cooldown. Skirk doesn't have that huge of a skill cooldown. It's 9 seconds from the moment her skill ends. Here we go, chat. This video is gonna go in. Holy shit, I'm getting in depth. There we go. We got our first contender for holy shit, I'm getting in depth, chat. And regarding information, it's kind of helpful. It's at the very low end of kind of helpful. The only saving grace is that it's showing, this video showing off a little bit of Skirk design that is less seen by some other people, some details on the bike, the wing. That's it. Yeah, it's design informative. I'm okay with this. That's a chill video in comparison to the other. I kind of like the vibe. We have gone through about half of the videos that we want to look at. I wonder what Jello is talking about.
First revealed to us, and
I am genuinely surprised that Jello has access to the early access server.
Should you pull Shenhe, Marjise, or her
I expect to see a lot of useful information from Jello. He is a content creator that is very thorough with his
I'm going to answer all of this in this video, and although I have
research.
Welcome to Jello Impact, where we build and test every single character.
Thank you, Jello, for
who you want to wish for and
using the timestamp in your video. Thank you.
This is her in Overworld, her in the menu with sword. I totally forgot she has a fin on her back. That is cool. Here's her talent. I was only able to
wait, hold on.
She has a fin on her back.
A fin?
Really cool. Here's her talent.
Oh yeah, points for noticing the fin.
It's right around the level that I would normally have in my account, but the builds that I have for some of the sub DPSs such as Yelan and Arena are quite a bit worse, so we just have to factor that in our testing. Here's how she looks when fighting. Absolutely incredible. I will say
good stuff.
And of course, you know,
we've seen this a lot before.
Reason why is it has tons of resistances, which as long as all the teams I'm using have relatively
this is the premium team for Skirk right here.
In his main stage, which we're gonna always kill him.
Jello video almost Skirk. I mean, his videos
basically it's just the tank
usually covers the next incoming character very extensively.
Other world bosses just don't last long enough. They don't have enough
Skirk is a character that's coming up and it's very hype.
Weren't able to go in the abyss, so I wanted to start off.
Sorry, Dahlia. Dahlia does have a dedicated fan base, just not as big as Skirk.
Hunter and how Arena Escoffier on 4-star weapon. Everyone at C0. This was Marjise. Pretty nice, clear. I timed it at 21 seconds, and then this is with a finale of the galleries. And as you see, it pretty much worked the exact same. Looking at these two footages, it looks a bit to me like Marjise Hunter is just slightly edging it out at this free-to-play levels of investment. But if you look at this situation here, where everyone is on their signature weapon, with Skirk, Shenhe, and Escoffier all having refinement 1 of their weapon, Marjise Hunter still seems to outperform galleries, if only just slightly. I really do think the burst playstyle is going to be relevant, so I wanted to do a test of the burst nuke as well. So here is the two comparing those. As you can see, galleries definitely outperforms Marjise Hunter by a decent margin. And adding on top of that, as you'll see in the team section, I was surprisingly happy with using characters such as Yelan or Mualani as replacements to Farina. So if you do have
those are some of the options.
Wants to use Farina, locking Skirk to Marjise Hunter could be a bad idea. So on the whole, I think both are very, very close. There's some pros and cons to either, and hopefully these thoughts helped you get at least a bit closer to making your decision.
I would say ideally I would want him to test this on a slightly tankier boss, like a local legend, because all of these times are too close to each other that a slight different in execution could lead to just different result. Maybe like half a second, maybe 1 second. Weapon comparison.
And she's still ridiculously strong with her 4-star weapon. You will not have a hard time using 4-star weapons at all. There were a lot of characters to test in the 4th slot, so we're going to go through a sort of light round. We're going to keep
Team slot showcase showdown. Yeah, thank you.
This first one, Shenhe leading the way, going to finish first. Mona just behind Shenhe. Dahlia C6 performing.
Really? Is Dahlia that good? Damn.
Yelan and Mona do. which was unexpected. I thought Dahlia would be a bit further behind. I don't know if just how it went,
Same.
or if that's going to replicate when we activate.
Dahlia's that good in the 4th slot.
Lucky, but here is Mualani as the final.
Perhaps
slot.
the attack speed is doing quite a bit for Skirk. Maybe she's making use of attack speed quite well. Gotta some testing on that.
So the other ones were switching
next
out
week.
Just do the characters do when you swap out Farina for Yolanda or Mualani? And the answer is Mualani was actually surprisingly close to Farina and you'll
hold on, I want to see what he's doing with Mualani. For Mualani, is he using burst every rotation?
Slot. But Mualani coming in clutch as a Farina replacement. So the other ones were switching out just the last slot. This one is switching out Farina. So how
interesting
do when swap out Farina for Yolanda or Mualani? And the answer is Mualani was actually surprisingly close to Farina and Yolan just behind there.
Okay, I cannot really see why Mualani would be that good. Is it just because of Throwing Tales of Dragon Slayer and Scroll being that good? Mualani should be doing a lot less damage than Farina though.
Now, I did want to do some comparisons versus some other teams. So on stream, we tested a bunch of other to compare Skirk times to those. These were done on my account, whereas the Skirk ones I've shown were done on the Content Experience server, or the Creator Experience server. Overall, a 17-second clear versus a 15-second clear is very impressive to be that close. It's looking like Skirk is a bit closer to Moika than she is to the other DPSs, especially given that Skirk doesn't need any reactions to happen. She doesn't need any timing or combos to get her max DS out. She's just sort of an unga bunga normal attack.
Talk about the fact that Skirks really want Escofia.
Just gonna take a look at this chamber, and because these guys, they're a bit spread out, they're a bit annoying to hit, so I just wanted to show you. I will say right now, she doesn't have the super craziest AoE. She's not the best AoE character. Oops. So you can even see that burst didn't even hit the other guy properly.
Wait, I did not see anything.
So you can even see that burst did.
That was cut.
Oops, I did her whole. Oh no, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. So you can even see that burst didn't even hit the other guy properly. It kind of reminds me of like Arlecchino's AoE. Like if we'll do this right here, we'll enter our burst state. We're attacking, you know, we're hitting this.
But normal attack is pretty decent.
You know, we're able to only hit one,
similar to
right?
Arlecchino.
Which is like fine. That's plenty of damage. Overall, I am just absolutely over the moon with this character. I think she is pretty much perfect as to what I want in the character. You know, would I like to see her a bit less restrictive towards Escoffier? Yes. But it's kind of been a pleasant surprise that she is not as restricted to Farina as I thought. Obviously, Farina is still the best, but you can get away with other stuff.
He's gonna make another video.
What if we activate Skirk's C1 and C2 or Escoffier's C1, see how that impacts the damage of the team. Let me know if you'd find that interesting. Let me know if you're going to get Skirk. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video.
I think that is a very informative video. Probably because of the past videos that he has made, he has talked a lot about the dependency of Skirk on Escoffier already. Holy crap, another video 43 minutes ago? This guy. This guy.
In version 5.7, Genshin Impact is introducing artifact loadout. So in this video, we're going to go over
artifact loadout guy. Okay. No, that's not the same. That's a different thing. He put a picture of Skirk in here though. It's a little bit misleading there, Jello. I don't think he is talking enough about the fact that Escoffier is very necessary. I'm gonna put him in the low big brain. Maybe because he's already talked about Escoffier enough in his previous videos. It is, once again, you know, I'm gonna do this. I think this is a slightly big gap between this and this. Because I'm looking at the name of the tier and I think that maybe I'm gonna just slightly reduce the intensity of that. And maybe I'll put more people up there. Skirk coming home. This kind of implies I'm pulling for constellation and I'm swiping. So with this, I think I'm more comfortably putting some content creator in here, as in making me inclined to go through a 50-50, and even if I lose 50-50, I'll continue to pull that character. You wasn't in the stream, is Skirk culpable? Skirk, if you have Escoffier, it's gonna be good. If you do not have Escoffier, she's gonna be as good as Wriothesley, and Wriothesley is a character that's kind of currently sitting comfortably in the middle of the pack right now, which is kind of where Skirk is if she doesn't have Escoffier as well. We're gonna just quickly look through these 3 videos. We're gonna look through, wait, where is it? Jade video?
Drop that silhouette teaser for the upcoming characters. There was one character that instantly caught my eye, and that's because we already know her. Yeah, it's Skirk. Basically, we're going to just appreciate her beauty first. Then I'll explain what she does in combat in very simplified terms, and after that, we're gonna see her in action. Lastly, I'll switch to Dahlia. Here we are, Skirk with all her glory. Let's do like a quick 360 pose. whoa.
Okay.
I absolutely adore her design, and my favorite part is her gloves and boots.
Jade!
Look at how they sparkle. And look at her eyes. They're not diamonds. I think she's the first one who has this pupil design. Is that on her hair? No, wait, that's like an earring. I thought it was like in her hair, but no, that's...
Oh yeah, now that I notice it.
She changes outfits in her scale. Boom. All ready for combat. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. Her attack pattern is real cool. Did you notice? I think I like her battle outfit a little bit more than the regular one.
It's personal taste. I like the white one a little bit more.
Tail, are you kidding me? And with the dual blade shield.
That's cool.
So cool.
The tail,
now,
the fish tail is
lastly,
cool.
Let's check out her burst
Boom.
animation. Ready for this? Absolutely gorgeous. Like the way she rips through the sky. I love it.
You know what?
Special
This,
kind of
I
energy
appreciate
called
this.
I'm
Content
referring
creator
to
takes the time
serpent
to
Aiding
learn
her
about the
with hydro
character
and cryo
before they
units
talk about them.
enhances her abilities even further. If you run a full cryo and hydra team, all of your character's elemental skills, and this includes Skirk too, will gain +1 talent. Flash,
This is extremely
and gains
helpful.
a certain amount of serpent subtlety. In this mode, her normal, charge, and plunge attacks
The visual
deal
aid
cryo
to
damage.
help
Keep in
with
mind,
explaining.
She loses serpent subtlety with every passing second in this mode. So if you want to maintain the state, you need to absorb void rifts, which give you extra normal attack buffs and energy based on how many rifts you consume. Dealing
We
burst.
have already heard a lot of Skirk explanation until this point, so for the purpose of judging the content creators' early access video, we will skip through and just see whether they are touching on those points or not, and whether they are providing helpful information for the viewers.
You can unleash your burst first and enter tap mode right after that. I will start with
Yes, please.
Skirk's premium team with Escoffier, Freena, and Shenhe. But before we go into combat, you need to know this is word level 8, and also Skirk's crit ratio is not the best. Okay, I will start with our burst mode, elemental burst focus playstyle.
To the freezer. Unleash. By ordinance divine.
And just unleash our burst and boom.
Henry's dead already.
Alright, let's go with the tap
Half full
mode
HP.
now. It shows you how many void drifts that are nearby. You saw the 3 dots and then you used her special burst to absorb all of them, and then that gives you extra energy and buffs, and then you keep going with your normal attacks. It's dead already. You need someone with higher HP pool.
Yes,
Should we
please.
try? Wow, nice. Okay, things to note, she doesn't go downhill with her hold mode. Absorbed.
Very cool.
Absorbed with the charge attack this time. Let's go.
Up to the freezer.
He has around 1/10 of the HP left right there, so it seems we need a second rotation.
Wait, he died, but Skirk was also one-shotted, but I call that success. Now, this was our premium team. Let's move on to her free-to-play team. Boom, boom, boom. We have 2 more and then 2 more void drifts, and then I absorb them with her charged. We have to do rotation one more time. Absorb them since we had 3, and now boom, done. That was a really fun team. Okay, I have one more team comp, but this one is this one is kind of funny. It's Skirk and Nuvolet in the same team together. Freena burst, and then Skirk burst, and then switch to Nuvolet and
Nice. Regarding the video, I think it sits comfortably in the middle of the pack in terms of helpfulness. I'm wondering, is it better than Volia? Is this better in terms of making me feel like I want to pull Skirk? I think it's around the same. It's not giving me much of an enticing reason. You could say here, you can say here, they're very similar. In terms of useful information, I'm going to put her here. She does go quite in-depth about the build characters as well, but the main gripe I have with it is that she's not trying this against like multiple teams against a different boss or a more tanky boss. It's more so a showcase and not much of a comparison. I would put Jade video in terms of helpfulness to be more helpful than the collected miscellany from Genshin. It is not giving me a ton to go off of other than the character's kit. There's not a lot of comparison. I went to lose. I'm gonna quickly glance through these again. I've watched this video before. I just need to refresh myself on what it is. He does explain about the kit. He gives a lot of comparison.
When she's going to leave
a healthy amount of puns.
Close to the Deep and the Calamity of the Issue, both of which should actually perform better than the Black Sword, so do keep that in mind. Now,
Performing teams, gonna check again to see if he's talking about the Escofia situation. No Escofia.
Gonna be close. Oh, all right. I count that as single cycling the green pudgy friend here, but definitely a big noticeable drop in terms of the overall team damage output in a single rotation. I did a couple more tests between Charlotte and Escoffier, and the clear times ended up being relatively similar to each other. This is for a couple of reasons. First, Charlotte actually takes less field time than Escoffier, thus allowing Skirk to start attacking sooner. Second, the green pudge's 1.645 million hit points is frankly too puny of an HP pool these days. In longer rotations and against much chunkier bosses, the difference will be much more significant. But for squishy enemies like the green pudge nowadays, it hardly matters. As of Skirk's release, Furina and Escoffier are simply too powerful to have any real competition. Now, the issue of her being restrictive is super obvious. It is highly recommended for her to be ran with Hydro and Cryo characters, and only Hydro and Cryo characters, and preferably at least one from each element. She also really appreciates persistent Hydro application from off-field to trigger freeze for generating void rifts, thus making her even more
to make her skill longer.
Oh right, and I forgot to mention earlier, but if you swap off of her during her E infusion, she'll lose that infusion. And one last issue is that she's not nearly as good with 4 cryo characters.
That's a long list of issues right there, sir.
Without Hydro,
are you gonna add something to remedy this?
There will always be a Hydro bonus cast member, which can help, but still, this is honestly a pretty annoying part of her design, especially given the nature of Imaginarium Theater, which is already restrictive in its own design. So yeah, if you like what you see, Skirk is a phenomenal character, especially with Escoffier and Furina, and I personally think she's pretty darn good at free-to-play levels as well, because she has a great damage floor and is able to carry less meta Hydro and Cryo characters, and is further enhanced by the meta Hydro and Cryo characters. I personally think Skirk provides pretty decent value for most people's accounts if you need a Cryo DPS character.
In the informative tier list, I believe this is the most big brain video of all. Not only it has many different comparisons of different teams, he also does calculation in the background and providing those helpful information. Yes, where are the numbers? Where are the numbers? Something like that. I Want to Lose video is sitting comfortably in the most big brain of them all. Close one is a Jello or Gacha game. I think Jello has a little bit more condensed information. Jello does not speak about the Escoffier situation enough, but then I Want to Lose really emphasize on the Escoffier and Furina situation. The whole summary of here is talking a lot about how restrictive Skirk is, which as he talks more, he's going down, 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 down in terms of hype, because he's speaking so much truth about this character, it hurts. She is indeed restrictive. He's putting that point home. With that, we have only one last video from one content creator that I will also respect that has access to the early access content creator server. This is Jamie. This is usually a content creator that looks into a very niche mechanic of a character, potentially looking at speedrun stuff. Let's see if he has some kind of fresh things that he can say on the table. Immediately, this video is only 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes long. I wonder what he's gonna have to say about this.
First of all, did you know Skirk isn't just a close range melee user? You might see all her swords, but actually her charge attack throws her twin blades.
Wait, that's
in the
new.
air. Now, for example, let's say you're fighting the Aeon Blight Drake. You know, that guy flies in the air and he exposes his core. Well, actually, Skirk can break down his core and disable him. Look at that.
What?
Skirk joins the rank of...
Okay, immediately informative.
He's the Aeon Blight Drake when you don't have like a bow character, for example. Luckily, I know from experience, Xingqiu during that is very RNG, whereas Skirk, it has nice AoE, looks very consistent. Perhaps you might find use for that.
Wow, redemption!
There's also a new Forza character, Dahlia, and his skill can actually be thrown in the air.
Wait, what the hell?
And there's so many different layers to this. Very interesting that this content creator discovered this. For example, you can stack Kazuha. Look at the different characters you can utilize for the techniques. Look at all the experimentation you can do. And the layering is very interesting. For example, you might start off with Albedo's flower, but then you can put Dahlia's thing on Albedo's flower, and then you can re-put Albedo's flower on Dahlia's thing. Look at that elevation. Then you can stack Kazuha, you can use those wind bottles, and then you can use that extra gliding wind as well. It'd be very creative how you can stack all the good exploration characters travel all over the place, especially as...
You know what? This is actually providing me with a fresh perspective on both Dahlia and Skirk.
The new read. Back to Skirk for a second, because as it turns out, Skirk's new model is kind of in between the medium-sized girls and tall girls. People are telling me this is kind of similar to Lali, but I don't know exactly. As you guys know, different size models have different running speed. So as you can see here, Skirk's size model is pretty much in between riding. If anyone has tested Seat Lali here, can let me know exactly. It's very cool though, and I like how they're experimenting with models now.
Oh, actually, Jamie does not have early access, but he was looking at Chinese early access video. That's the reason why we have some
last thing we learned in the create
Chinese down below.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but we do have confirmation information here that the artifact loadouts are not exactly customizable. It is improved, but it's not perfect. For example, say the game recommend you this set here. So if you're not happy with that build, you want to switch to your Crimson Witch Goblet, tweak it around. So this is your custom build.
Yeah.
So you found that your build, but what happens when you go back in? What happens when you go back into your saved loadout? But as it turns out, it
Bruh.
Oh god. Kind of only saves the go back into confirm that tweak it around.
Hold on.
So this
Do you have to click save or something, right? Please tell me that this person just forgot to click save.
But as it turns out, it kind of only saves the previous one. It only saves the in-game recommendation. So that's a bit disappointing, obviously. Not quite artifact loadout. You know, technically there could be a hotfix on the release date. You never know. This is still the beta. So yeah, just a quick video for now. Thanks for watching, and hopefully very soon.
Technically not a video because Jamie was able to get into the early access server, but I think it's a helpful video nonetheless. You know what, I'm gonna put him on the list as well. Jamie, the guy has been pretty good consistently at finding things that are niche and not many people may realize on the characters that he's interested about. Not disappointed. Not disappointed. Information, even though we don't have a lot of information about Skirk, combat kit specifically, but it does have provide the information that she can do the charge attack to enemies on the air. Is it big brain or kind of helpful? It's big brain or kind of helpful? If there's one more piece of information, okay, that's the only piece of information. That's about Skirk model, but we also have those information. You know what? Sure, kind of helpful. And strangely enough, this video is making me a little bit more hype about Skirk. He's gonna be on the low range of Skirk coming home. As I mentioned at the beginning of our process of making this tier list, the more a creator is being informative about the Skirk and Escovia situation, the less hype that creator is making me feel about pulling Skirk. So keep reminding us that fuck, Skirk needs this character, damn it, which seems to be the case, other than that one Bran video where he doesn't seem to put a lot of time and effort into making the video. I think all other content creators video are accomplishing one thing or another, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I'm gonna post this to my Discord. It seems that no one is making me go, holy shit, I'm getting in debt. CC Skirk Early Access video, right? Hi. Oh. There we go, chat. We have accomplished what we set out to do today, as well as looking at a lot of Skirk stuff to properly get ourselves hyped for next week. These videos are extremely informative from these content creators, and I believe they do provide the very accurate picture of Skirk to an average Genshin player. Now, once again, I repeat that we are only looking at these videos with a brightly learning eyes from me, a small content creator, to these big content creators, and any critique is to the video that we watch specifically and not to the content creator as a whole. Disclaimer from my lawyer requiring me to say so that I do not get sent death threat anytime soon. Zeox did not do an early access, I don't think. I tried to look into it. He does not have one. Oh my god, I'm blooming!